Very good morning to you. I'm here in the warehouse today and I'm going to show you how to do the loop mesh. I'm just going to wait for a few of you to join us, and then we can get started making. We've got some great offers on the website as well today, and go through that. Thank you. Someone just handed me a pair of scissors. So what I'm going to be showing you today how to make is the loop mesh. Now this one is I guess a little bit of a pet project of mine. I really enjoyed making this one up. You will make the back part separately from the front part, and so you can wear the black part as a bracelet, I guess. So you can wear it separately as well, or you can put the two together and have a necklace. So it's really great multi-use necklace, I guess. You can make it in so many different colors. They only seed beads in there, so although we use about just over 100 grams of seed beads, but it depends how big you want to make your front piece. It's only seed beads in there. So if you got seed beads at home or anything left over, what you're not really sure what to do with it, this is it's a perfect project. So let me just move this out of the way. You're going to start by doing the back part, the bracelet part of the necklace. Now I glued a couple of bits here in about 10 minutes earlier. I tried a couple of different super glue, but I don't think it's taken yet. So I think we're just going to have to tie the ends for the tutorial. No, it's not completely dry yet. So super glues, I usually use if I want something really quick. Morning Dean, morning Linny, morning Dee, Joe, Lucy, Sheila. Oh, there is loads of you here already. So super glues. If I want something drying really quickly, I love the Gorilla Gel Glue because it's sort of got a little bit of a give and take in it. I also sometimes use the Loctite super glue, but this one is quite brittle, so you have to be really careful when you use it. I suppose the best thing to use the E6000, which we sell on our website as well. That's a jewelry glue, and it's a silicone based one, so it will hold your jewelry for a long time. And in our old house, I have to say, you holded our shower tray down for, I don't know, 10 years or over. I presume it's still there. The shower tray had to be glued down, and we had nothing at home, and I had a big tube of E6000, so it was holding even that down. So it's a really great stuff. Let me just bring the video up here on my laptop, so I can see your lovely comments. If you have to excuse my nails today, I still haven't had time to do my nails, unfortunately. I keep saying every day, but there's something always comes up, and there is something you always will have to do. So last night, I went and got myself a bike. So with this lockdown, like when we're at home or working from home, you sort of sit at the desk and you know, you eat as normally, but you don't really get that much exercise. And when you are at work, like we're so busy, like you very quickly just sort of want to pick up a biscuit. And I have to admit, I have put a few pounds on since this lockdown. So I decided last week to go and get a bike and get a bit healthy. I mean, I think it's about 5 or 6 miles from home to work. So maybe after a little bit of a few outing with the bike, I might even try to cycle to work. So let's see. Let's watch the space. Right, I'm going to turn this down a little bit so you can see better. But let me just go to your lovely comments first, because I don't really want to miss anybody here. But there is so many of you, and I can see that you're having conversation with each other as well. So that's really great. Just sort of meeting like-minded people. And if I do miss your question, I will go into the video later on and answer them like I do on every other day. Morning, Paula, Alison, Linny, Lucy, Sheila, Lynn, Judith, oh, there's so, Antida, Doris, Marie, Julie, Kim, Chris, oh, there's so many of you. Alicia, Chef, Nat. Nat is saying, morning Kitty, I'm home today to make use of the beads I got yesterday. Oh, lovely. Julie, morning. Christine is saying, good morning Kitty, that looks such a lovely necklace. Yes, and it's so easy to do that it's like really, you know, and it's only needs a few materials. Right, so let me just go through what the offers we go on the website actually quickly before we start making. We put the mesh bundle back where you get 40 meters of mesh in 20 colors. There's 3 different sizes here. Usual price $19.99, $12.99 on there today. Now, I added seed beads on there as well, metallic seed beads. They got 20% off. Size 8s and size 11s as well. There is so many different colors. Do check it out. Just a hint, to give you, the size 8 metallic seed beads we will be using in a video soon, doing some garden decoration. So do grab the offer while you can. There is some ends because you're going to need some, we call them kumihi ends, but they're glue-in ends. You're going to need to make your necklace and the bracelet as well on the website. And of course your free PDF, which you have to add to your basket. Check out your basket and then it will be emailed to you. I have to say thank you for everyone who bought the bracelet kits yesterday. We sold so many. So Sarah was supposed to take this on TV on the 13th of May, but I don't think there's going to be enough stock left for her to take it. I left it in the section, so it's still in the free PDF section. The video is yesterday's video, so you can wind back, you can sort of scroll down on our Facebook page and look at how to make them. Just such a great response. I have to say thank you to everybody. It's a really great project. We come up with 2 colorways. That's the ombre, which is like more of a subtle pastel colors, and then you got the rainbow ones, which are the sort of the rainbow colors. They both look really, really great, really easy make as well. So let's start now. One more thing which is on the website. So there are a couple of kits. There is a bright colors and there's a metal color kits on the website. Now these are usually $19.99, but we discounted down to half price for you today, so they are $9.99. Now each of these kits makes 2 necklaces. So in your kit, if I just open one and show you, you get 2 lots of the mesh, you get your 2 colors of seed beads, and you get your ends as well to make a necklace and a bracelet from each color. It's packaged out. You've got 100-gram seed beads. Let me just get this out. So you got 100-gram beads and a 25-gram seed beads as well. And we could have put this in one bag, but what we did is, so you need to make a bracelet, and I didn't really want, sometimes people jump in and make the necklace part first, and then you haven't got enough to make your bracelet. So that's why we've given you 2 bags, but anything left over from the bracelet one, you can always use for the necklace itself. So that's great. That's how the kits are set up. Right, so I'm just going to take a little bit of mesh. Let's see if these are dried yet. No, they're still a little bit soft and a little bit moving. I like to leave things dry for longer, and so just to be sure that they completely done. Right, so I'm just going to cut a bracelet size mesh off. Now with the mesh, because of the material it is, you can't measure it when there is nothing in it, because it is really gonna stretch, and then you're gonna end up with a shorter bracelet what you would want to do. So you always need to measure it once you fill it out with beads. I'm just gonna get a little bit of black thread here. Now it doesn't have to be any special thread, anything you got at home. All we're gonna do is sort of bring the end together and wind the thread around it, just like that. So that's why I have is securing our end. Now, once I added 2 or 3 or 4 loops, I just add a dash of a little bit of super glue on there. So that's all that does, is just holds those lovely threads together. And then I'm gonna continue and add a few more loops, and it's all gonna stay on there nice and secure. A tiny bit more glue. That's it, and my end is done. I'm going to trim the threads because I don't want them to hanging out. Sorry, I haven't got a smaller. Simon just bought the scissors up for me, but this doesn't really work for thread. I don't know. You know, I got my little pink scissors, and every time I put my pink scissors down, it's just like disappears. Especially here in the warehouse. At home, I know the kids do take them. No, maybe the flash cutter will cut it. Oh yes, the flash cutter just got my thread. So at the home, I know the kids take it, but here in the warehouse, I really don't know sort of where they're going. Oh, Margaret is watching. Morning, Margaret, Jane, Lucy, Alicia. Double getting onto the video, but I'm here now. Good morning again. Jack, Stabby, Tracy, hi. Kitty caught this today. Oh, well done. Maureen Wells saying morning. Angela saying morning. Elaine, Paula, Jean, Liz. Oh, there's so many lovely ladies and well and gentlemen as well here watching us. It's so great because it's everybody's saying that it's so great for us. Like I'm looking forward to this every 10 o'clock in the morning, but I'm looking forward to it as well because it sort of sets my day. Sort of get up, put my makeup on, and then we can have lovely sort of little time crafting. Morning, Doris, Jane. Anna saying, good morning, Kitty. Looking forward to this one. My mesh bundle arrived last week. Yes, so we had the mesh bracelet. We did a video with the mesh bracelets on last week. You can scroll down in the Total V's Facebook page and check it out. So this is the same material we used last week. And it's a really great way to use up odd bits of pieces, what you have at home. Let me just scroll down. Yeah, so you can fill it with anything. This one is my favorite. This one has got sequins inside it. So I had some 8mm sequins at home, which I didn't really know what to do with it. I didn't want to sew it on any clothes and just sort of they all in the mesh. You can use larger beads. You can use anything in there, so that it's a really great way to, and even with children as well. It will show you the video before how to do the crimp ends as well, which is like all these bracelets, and that's quite an economical way to do it. Right, so without further ado, let's get back to our bracelet. So I tied one end of my bracelet, just a little knot. I just wanted to wait a couple of minutes and the glue nicely dried on it now. And we're going to fill it up from the other side. Now, you can use a funnel, you can use a little scoop, you can use, I like to use one of these, it's just a tube, a plastic tube really, because I can squish it together and create like a point-like end on one side and just very easily they just roll in there. Now for a bracelet you only need about 10 grams of seed beads, so it doesn't really take much at all. You can also make your own funnel with paper or card. I think we all did that when we were children one time and another in our classes. Now before I measure it and I put the other end on or tie the other end off, I like to just sort of hold it up and squeeze it together, and as I'm squeezing it together you can see the beads slightly move down a little bit. So it's just really filling it up nicely and tight. You don't want to overfill it, you don't want to over tighten it, but you really want to sort of have a nice solid finish in it, like a little sausage, I guess. So that's it. That's how easy it is to fill the bracelets. Now the beads I'm using today and what comes in the kit is size 11, but size 8 beads look perfect as well. Now let me just measure it to one of the necklaces here. So don't forgetting I'm going to be, yeah, that's about the right size. I'm going to glue the ends in later on. So you want to allow a little bit of space where the cap's going to go over it. Now again, I'm going to do the same technique. Where's my thread gone? I'm gonna take my thread and just wind it around the end, just like that. Just secure the end, pull it right down on top of the beads. Again, you can take your glue and add a tiny bit of dab on there just to sort of hold them in place, and then keep reeling it around. And once we're done, we're going to trim the end. Well, we're going to trim the... That's it, just a few more around. I'm going to trim, just add a bit more glue so that it will stay there. And I'm going to trim the mesh as well as I'm going to trim the thread itself. So I just want to leave a little bit of end just next to there, if you can see it. And trim that down. And then trim the threads as well. So I got that's my bracelet almost made. All is left to do is to take your clasp and apply a bit of glue and just glue the ends in there, just like that. I'm not going to do that right here because it's going to take quite a bit of time to wait for it to dry. Right, so that's our bracelet done and out of the way. Now we're going to do the necklace. The necklace, it starts off with very similar technique. So I got a longer piece of mesh here. This is about maybe 1.5 meters, and I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm gonna hold the end together here where I fold it in half, and I'm gonna take my thread again and just wrap it around, so that creating that little point on one end where what we're gonna glue into our clasp. And just wind it right around, add a dash of glue, put a few more rounds on there, just like that. Secure the end down with a dash of glue, and that's it, one end of our finish. Now what we need to do is to fill our tube up from the other end. So we have to fill both, not the same time, but we have to fill both of the tubes up to the same amount of level, because once we finish our looping, it's pretty much going to be the same. If you want your these ones was very exactly the same. So if you can see, the loop is sort of one goes around the other, and then the other comes around this one. So we really kind of need equal amount, but once you've done them up, you can always sort of manipulate them, and with the end we can always trim it and make it the right size. So I'm going to do the same technique, and this is going to be quite quick to do. Just pop the seed beads into this tube. And that's it, quite quick to do. Again, I'm just going to let them roll all the way in there very easily. As you can see, they're just rolling down, going all in there. Make sure I'm shaking it down so it gets then all the way to the bottom. If you get anywhere, like I got a little bit, I got them stuck on. Is it going to be stuck at the top then? No, they went down. If they get a little bit stuck at the top, like they got stuck there, just push them together and they will travel further down. Just like that. Then I'm going to fill a bit in the other one. And just sort of side by side, just fill them all the way up. But it's really nice and easy so far, isn't it? Oh, Jack's replying. Oh, you are replying to each other, lovely. She's saying, don't forget to glue ends first because beads go everywhere. Yes, so you either have to tie your end off or glue the end in, because otherwise, obviously, they would fall out on the other end. So let me just add a bit more of here, making sure it goes all the way down, and then I'm gonna add on the other side as well. So just going back to sort of your comments, I don't really want to miss any of them. Kim was saying still have some in her stash, so do get it out and have a play with it because it's so lovely. This saying, hi, I'm looking forward to this. I have ordered a silver and gold set, so while have something to do when I eventually get back from Sam. Oh, lovely. Margaret saying not on her own, she's replying to someone else's comments. It's so nice to see that you sort of... Oh, Margaret saying, how do you manage without gluing your fingers? Well, I do have glued my fingers quite a few times. So I'm quite klutzy, and I suppose you just have to be careful how you're holding it. When I was doing, I think I was doing Kumihimo at one point, what I did is I was holding it with a plastic bag, because usually the glue, depending on what type of glue you use, it doesn't really stick to the plastic bag. So I was holding the end with the clasp with the plastic bag around it, but I was trying to glue in, and it turned out quite nice. Right, so we got our, this is going to be quite long, so you go about 80 centimeter of beads in either one of them. I'm again going to go down and sort of push them down together so they will travel down all the way, making my little the mesh more fuller. That's it. So the next step, what we need to do, we're gonna need to secure the ends here temporarily. We're gonna come and do this later on and hold it together to do it at the right length, but at the moment I'm only really looking at to secure it temporarily, and you're gonna do it the same way. So you're gonna take the thread and just wind it around, just temporary. Now you can I like to do it with a thread, but if you really want to be quick and you don't want to I guess spend time, I haven't got any at the home here, but at home I got the little clips what I use in the fridge or freezer rather, for the bags what you then open and want to put back in there. So they like a perfect thing to put on the end just to temporarily secure it, or little spring clips or anything what you find. I haven't got any of that at work. Oops, just some of the seed beads. So I'm gonna secure the other end, and I'm gonna turn the camera down so you can see the knotting, how it goes along. And just get rid of some of these bits. Other end. Patricia saying morning Kitty and everyone. Good morning to you, my lovely, as well. Angela saying I have glue on my fingers and kids for ages afterwards. Yes. So when I do something like a long or a lot of gluing, and I use, you know, not just in beading but any other crafting, and I get the glue on my fingers, it's really hard to get it off afterwards. So what I found the easiest thing is to, you know, those little polystones what you use for your heels or your feet. Sorry, my voice is going. I use that on my fingers, or really slightly, just to sort of rub the glue off. And I do find my hands are really nice and soft afterwards. So that's what I used to. Angela's saying she loves the kids, but she doesn't make them because she ends up making a mess. So I think when you do something like this, because you're using quite a large surface, what's the best thing to do is, I say this every day, so this is again one of those felt materials what I bought in the material shop. It's only about £5 a meter, so £5-6 a meter, and it's really great because when you're doing a project like this, when you need a lot of space, you can just put it on your table, and then you got your space to really expand out. Right, let me just turn the camera down so I can show you the weave itself. So I'm going to try to do it backwards so you can see it from the right angle. It's not, let's just turn it down a little bit more. Yeah, the phone is going to stay there, I guess. Hopefully you don't have any malfunctions, and it's just put the top on that glue. Right, so you got your end here, and we're going to start looping around one over the other. So you're going to take one end. This is by the way, it's all, if you get the kit, it's all in the instructions, and if you download the PDF, it's all in the PDF as well, how to do the looping. So it's really easy to do. So bear with me because I'm doing it upside down for you here. So you're going to take one of the ends, you're going to go under the other side, then you're going to come over and back through the loop, and just pull this up nice and tight. So we just created one loop around the other mesh. I'm going to pull it up nice and tight, and I can bring it up to you really easy. We just looped one around the other side. Now we need to change side. So last time we started on this side, this time we're gonna start on this side. So we're gonna go under the other side, we're gonna come over the top and into our loop. So we created the loop going the other way this time. I mean, you can experiment with different loops, but always go sort of one side to the other side to get a nice even knotting. And now I'm back to this side, so I'm going under, then I'm coming back over and through my little loop. So just creating the little knots. That's it. And then try to hold, not so tight, a loose tension, but make sure that you leave a little bit of movement in your necklace, because you want to have, we can always, like, once we finished it, we can always come back and tighten it up later on. So that's it, and then keep on going. I hope you can see it all right. And I'm almost done. So this is really quick, just sort of looping around. Make sure that if you can, that your loops are even. And I started with this side, so I'm going to finish with this side. That's it. Now I'm going to come from the top and just sort of pull the loops up, tightening them up just a little bit, making them sure that they are even. I'm sort of twisting the top of the loop, so as you can see, it moves up and the mesh moves around. That's it on one side, and then the other side all the way down. And this, when you do this, it's going to give you a little bit of extra length as you're tightening them up. And do the last one. I think I get one more loop out on either side. I got enough, just about. So I'm going to go under and come back through. Now, you know what I didn't bring up? I didn't bring up any sellotape, because you need to put and secure it together with the sellotape. So that's the last one done, and I'm pulling it through, and I just had the right amount of length, and voila, our end is done. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to, as I got the right length here. Now if you end up with one is much longer than the other, don't force it back down, because that's where your necklace wants to sit. So in that case, I would cut the end off, let some of the beads come out, and bind the two together. I pretty much got the right amount of here, so I'm going to go ahead, and now I'm going to take both of the ends here and tie them together. Just sort of do a few rounds with the thread. Kimberly's saying, wow, a lot of beads in that mesh. So I got about 100 gram seed beads in there. And these metallic ones are really great, because they give you, these, by the way, are only craft seed beads, what we're using. So you know, when we do our weaving projects, like we did these ones, the rainbow bracelets, we're using Toho seed beads for this one, because you need the regularity of the seed beads, so they're all the same size. Now for the mesh, you're only using craft seed beads, which are sort of 10 times cheaper than Toho, because you get 10 times the amount for the same money, I guess. And they are perfect, because you can't really see inside the mesh. It doesn't really matter if they're not even. So if you have beads at home but you didn't know what to use for a long time, you can always use it with mesh. And don't forget, the mesh is on offer at the moment, so you can get the 40 meter pack for $12.99. So that's it, our front piece is done, and I binded it together. Now I'm going to take the clasp. I like to use a slightly smaller clasp in size, what I use. So I use a slightly bigger one for the bracelet itself, because you want to, I like to, I'll show you in the finished sample, actually probably you can see it better. So for the bracelet, I like to match the size of the mesh, but for the necklace, I like to bring it together, because I don't really want, as I pinch the ends together, I don't really want any gap showing there. So I like to use a smaller clasp on there. Now just measure it and put it in there. A good thing to do here is, it's the same for Kumihimo or anything else, that if you put the clasp on it and it's a slightly bit bigger, and you can, as you can move it around in there, then go back to your thread and keep winding your thread around until you get the, I'm going to trim the end as well here, until you get sort of the right amount of thread, which will fill the back clasp itself. So that's that little hollow tube that will go on the top of there, and just we want a little bit more thread there, so it will sit in there, not tightly, So you can nice, because you still need to add a little bit of glue in there, but it was sitting there so you won't see the end going in. So that's really how, I suppose, it's good for other bits as well, or other jewelry you're making. That's how you can cheat when you got a smaller end, but you got a bigger clasp. So I'm just winding it around. I'm not gonna use a lot of thread, probably about 1 meter, I guess I'm gonna wind on here. But again, you can use any sort of thread. Just sort of double check it. No, I need to go just a tiny bit more. You can use any thread you have at home. It doesn't have to be, I just grabbed the beading thread from downstairs. So that's it. I think I got about enough. Maybe a couple more rounds. And that's it. And when I put it on there, yes. So when the way how I check it, that it's the right amount. So if you turn it upside down, it's not gonna fall, the clasp not gonna fall off. So if I do the same thing on the other side, where the thread is thinner, if you put it on there and it falls down, then I need to wind some more on. But when you got the right amount, when you put it on there, it's really easy to put on there, but at the same time, it won't fall down. So I'm just gonna add a bit more glue on there, making sure it goes all the way around. And very simply, I'm just gonna get the end and push it on there, and that's it. Our end is glued in. And I got a tiny bit come out at the bottom here, so I'm just gonna take it off with this plastic bag. I mean, when I do a lot of gluing, so things what I like to have at hand is a toothpick, because then you can apply the glue to the knots very neatly and right on the top of the knot. I like to have cotton wool buds on the side as well, because if my glue runs out and I just need to wipe a little bit away, the cotton wool buds are really great, because they it's not a lot of cotton wool on there, but it's just, I guess, the right amount. So when you put it on there and you run it along your where the glue sort of bubbled out, it will soak the glue up, but it won't make a mark at the same time. So I'm going to go along the next step and wind around the other side, glue this end on the, open this up and glue the same end on the other side with the same technique. And that's it really. That's how easy to do. Glue the bracelet in afterwards so I can attach that, again, opening up the ends. But I'll show you on the finished one. I don't know why I'm showing you on the a non-finished one. They just work together. So I think it's just really great, very easy. You can even mix up seed beads. If you got seed beads at home, that would look great as well. With the mesh, you can, I haven't got any samples here, but you can add the colors in a rainbow way as well. So you could start with just adding some green one, then you add an amount of yellow one. If you're using a scoop, you just put 1 scoop of each, and it sort of will fill it up and it will look great. But there's a lot you can do with this, and I always really I have a lot of fun with it, because it's quick, it's easy, and you get great results. So do have a go. Let me just look at some of your lovely comments, because I'm so conscious that I'm not ignoring you, but I just really wanted to show what you're doing. So Angela's saying, always put the glue inside the cap. That's probably what I'm doing wrong. No. So yes, if you doing the bracelet, when I glue this, I would properly put the glue inside the cap and then push it in there. When I'm doing the necklace, because I wind it around, that it fills the thread, I use the same color thread as the mesh, so it fills up the gap inside there. I put it on the thread itself, because when you push it in, that just sort of fills the gaps and goes in there. If you put it in the, I find if I put it in the cap and then I push the end in, when I completely filled it up with thread, sometimes you can't really judge how many glue you're putting inside the cap, and sometimes when you push it in, all the glue can come out. So when you do the ends like that, I think it's easier to just sort of put it on a thread, and you don't need much glue anyway because it will all hold on there. Camille saying, you are just concentrating, love. We all do that. Like, you know, I know when you do a class or when you do got a bead club or anything going on, you know that people are concentrating and they do and really liking what they're doing, because it goes quiet and nobody's talking. And I do say to ladies, you can talk to each other. Right, so that's it for me today. Do check out the website. I will go through the comments, and if you had any questions, I will answer it. Karen saying, I would have thought glue would make it more secure. I think she's replying to somebody else's comment. 10 for the bracelet. I think this size 11. So the seed beads inside here are size 11, but you can, this is only craft seed beads, Kieran, so this is the cheaper kind, and what you can use with it, because it doesn't really matter if they're not all the same size. They look really nice in them. With the metallic seed beads, what I love about them, that when the light comes on them, they really capture and they're really shiny. But don't forget as well that the color of the seed beads, where are all those bracelets, will slightly change the look of the mesh, and the color of the mesh will slightly change the look of the seed beads. So just this is an example. They both the same size 11 purple metallic seed beads, but this one is in a blue tube and this one is in a grey tube, and you can see that it doesn't really look blue from the I don't know actually how well this comes on your screen, but it doesn't really look, the bracelet doesn't really look blue from the mesh. It just have like a blue shimmer around it, and that one is got in the grey mesh and it looks more purple as well. So it's really a great, you can just sort of experiment with it, but if you don't like it, you can always take it out and put some. Anyone know how many seed beads have used in grams? Right, so a bracelet, you need about 10 grams, and for a necklace, I used about 100 grams, so 50 grams in each tube. And this is why it's better to use the craft seed beads, because they're cheap as well, so they go much further. Mary's saying she's using, can we know that this, they keep jumping things, I suppose, as you're putting new ones. Nail polish remover acetone is good for getting glue off our ends. Yes, that's true, Jen. That's a really good one as well. But don't forget, not all the nail polish removers got acetone in it. So some of them now, what you buy in Boots or anywhere else, they don't really have acetone. They got some different material in there, and then they act a little bit differently. So that's it for me today. Do check out the website. Go for the mesh bundles. You can. That's only $12.99. There's 40 meters in there, and in this one you got the 3 different sizes. So not only you got the 8mm, what I used today, but you got a thinner one. Sorry, I haven't got any samples of that here. And you got the thicker one as well to experiment with. The kits are half price, and don't forget that one kit does make 2 necklaces. Where's my silver one gone? I misplaced it. And the metallic colors are great as well, because you get this turquoise green and then you get this lovely pinky color as well, which is like, it's a bright pink, but once you put it in the mesh, because the mesh I put it in is black one, it slightly changes the colors and really deepens it. And I suppose it goes nicely with my top today. Let's have a look. So yeah, do check out on the website. Nice, it goes nicely with the top. You can make them longer or you can make them shorter. It's entirely up to you. And then just making little bracelets. You know, you can fill them with everything, anything you have at home in your stash. If you have beads there, what you sorry, just my earring just fallen out. If you have anything in your stash, you know, just use it up. Tomorrow it's gonna be Sarah. She's gonna make some lovely stitched earrings, clip-on earrings, because I know a lot of people do ask about them. That I haven't got my ears pierced, but I would like to make some earrings, and they are really, really gorgeous. So do check out that one. I think they're going to be a couple of little bundles on the website as well. For you to sort of purchase and try along. And yeah, so we planned that with Sarah for the next week as well, but we're trying to sort of, as you say, push the boat out and have sort of a little bit of a longer plan. But we are working on it, so do bear with us. But any events we have, we will put it on Facebook, so you can go on our Facebook page, and if you go into the events, you can see everything what's coming up. We are here at the moment, 10 a.m. every morning. If it's raining or sun is shining or hail or snow, we will be here making something with you. If you get a specific thing what you want us to make, then do please message us in, and I will put it on the list. I know quite a few of you sent messages, and I wanted the herringbone weave and some of the others as well, and Elizabeth bracelet as well was from one of the ladies, so I put them on the list. But do bear with us that we have got stuff worked out, so it might be 2 or 3 weeks until we come around to do that. And yeah, but do message us if you got anything. 36, my clover beads and bicom pendants have just arrived. Yay, oh lovely. Do post a picture in once you made it in the Totally with Handmade group, because we love to see you, what you're making with it, or your interpretation of like, you know, because you all do things differently. And I think Bernie was a very classic example. When I did Amos pendants, with the Amos beads, she's even taken it further and added loads of wire and bits and pieces to it, and it just looked really fantastic. So I was so pleased with that. So that's it for me today. Do stay safe, everyone. I hope everybody's okay. The weather is not too great. I can't really see. I'm keep looking up because upstairs where we set up the video in the warehouse, we haven't got windows. We only got the skylight. But it looks like the sun sort of come out. So hopefully we have a few hours of good weather. So oh yeah, Kieran's saying, what about the watch bracelets, Kitty? I have put that on the list, but I have to have a look, because at the moment we haven't got any watch bases in stock, so I can't really make anything up. I need to get some watch bases in so I can make a sample up for you to show you, but a lot of different stitches can be used for that. So yes, it is the making, and I got it on the list, so bear with us. It will come around soon. So take care, everybody. Bye. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Keep crafting and send us your lovely pictures. Join our groups on Facebook if you haven't. Shared the video so your friends can download the PDF, because it's only available today, and it will be something different tomorrow. So see you later. Bye.